everybody, it's Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. This video is about morale in Shtf. What is morale? Morale is how happy you are, how good do you feel, how content you are, how satisfied you are, those kind of things. You know, morale. So how do you go about achieving morale? Good morale. Actually, morale exists. It can be either good morale or bad morale. So, and the importance of morale. One sec. Okay, so what's the importance of morale? I think it's kind of obvious by me talking about what morale is and having a good positive morale. It's all about the happiness of your people, how content they are. You know, if you have bad morale, I mean, it can cause all kinds of problems, disagreements, you know, people leaving the group if you're in a group, you know, just all kinds of problems, arguments, you know, dissatisfaction, people not doing their jobs well, just overall, a lot of different things can happen. You know, people can just take off, people can just abandon their jobs, and a lot of interpersonal problems in relationships and stuff like that. So morale, having a positive, good morale is very important. So how do you, first of all, how do you improve morale? What makes good morale? And so, you know, I wrote some notes down here. So the first thing I was thinking about is it's comfort. Are you warm? Are you dry? Are you fed? Things like that. Do you get proper sleep? Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Do you have recreation time? Because even an event, even if it's like total utter collapse, you're going to be busy. You're going to be gardening, you're going to be patrolling, you're going to be standing guard duty, you're going to be canning, you're going to be cleaning, you're going to be doing laundry, you're going to be doing medical stuff. Everybody's going to have a lot of jobs to do, a lot of stuff to do. But you still need to make time for recreation, for downtime, personal time. That's another thing I wrote down. Also, fellowship with people. Like if you're out there gardening and you got several people out there, just having good conversation. You know, having a good time doing what you're doing. Some things obviously you can't. If you're out on a security patrol and in a higher threat environment, well, you're not going to be sitting there coking and joking. You know, you're going to be taking it seriously. You're going to be quiet. You're going to be have sound and noise discipline and all that stuff like that. So it's not always the case. But camaraderie, building a sense of team is very important for morale, for positive morale. Also, along with fellowship comes prayer. Having prayer groups, having, you know, scripture study groups, stuff like that. If that's your thing. If you're a non-religious group or non-religious people, well, maybe just the fellowship part might apply to you. But prayer, for me, greatly helps improve my morale because it helps me feel closer to Him. It helps me feel more grounded, and it's just good for my soul. It helps me, you know, kind of stay on an even keel. So also positivity, positive reinforcement when somebody does a good job, letting people know, and that goes along with also effective leadership is my next thing. Effective leadership instills that positivity in people. They do reinforce people positively, a positive reinforcement. Hey, great job, you know, and recognition amongst your peers is also very important for people. You know, it's like your kids. Recognition is important. People are motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by stuff. Some people are motivated by, you know, money, financial. Some people are motivated by recognition. Some people are motivated by affection. Things like that. Everybody has different motivating factors. So the good leaders find what motivates each of their people, and they capitalize on that. They use that motivating factor to motivate their people to achieve the results they desire. So, yeah, and making sure your people's needs are met. And, or if it's if you're not the leader, making sure that your needs are met. And that you don't let what you need go by the wayside because you're worried too much about other people and taking care of them. You still need to take care of yourself. Or your morale is going to suffer, and then it could lead to problems for you and the group and your family, whatever it may be. So, also, people need to be given the opportunity for improvement. Just like kids. And this is all about empowerment. Empower your kids. You'd be amazed. Like someone earlier, we were out here in the woods, and oh man, we collecting a bunch of this just random stuff like these broken down branches here. That's some we picked up. We put in a pile there. You can see that we're going to have a campfire later on. So what we do is we drag all this dead wood out of the woods here, and it helps clean up the woods. They look nicer, and it is nicer. And then we use it for campfire wood. It's all rotten crap anyway. You burn through a lot of it because it burns so quickly. But anyway, my 3-year-old, oh yeah, so we were looking, she found like a half of an acorn shell. And I thought, hey, this is a learning moment. And I said, hey, how do you think the acorn shells get down here in half instead of whole? I thought I was going to use this as a learning moment and teach her some things. And she said, well, Daddy, the squirrels are in the trees and they eat the acorns and then they drop them. Mind blown. I'm like, 3-year-old, that's awesome. I couldn't believe it because that's exactly what I was going to tell her. I was going to use that as a teachable moment. So capitalize on teachable moments. Empower your people. Give them the opportunity to improve. Challenge them. Give people challenging jobs. Don't always just let the status quo go by, because that's one of my sayings that I love is, and I don't know if somebody else came up with it. I forget where I heard it, but perfection is the goal, excellence is accepted, and failure is not an option. That's just one of those things. It's a mantra to live by. So if you're always encouraging people to improve and you're challenging them, putting them in challenging environments and giving them a chance to better themselves and improve their stature, improve their situation, then they'll be motivated. Some people will. Some people may not. So anyway, that's one of those things you need to find out what motivates people around you. People need to feel needed, and they need to feel important. So, you included. You need to feel important. So, like me as a father, I get great satisfaction from taking care of my children, taking care of my wife, going to work to provide for them, coming home and gardening, weeding the garden, watering the garden, taking care of them, playing with the kids. I have great satisfaction from being a good man and a supportive husband and a great father to the people around me. That's where I get the most satisfaction out of my life is by taking care of them and being there for them. And I wrote down empowerment. Lift people up. Don't beat them down. Like, you guess there is a time to beat people down, and then you build them back up. But I'm thinking military environment. In a civilian environment, in an SHTF scenario, you don't want to beat people down because you don't know what they're going to do when they get to that point where they're the breaking point. In a military controlled environment, it's a lot different. So it's better to build people up. You can have teachable moments along the way. If they do something wrong, use that, turn it into a teachable moment. Be fair and in your judgment and stuff like that of other people. But build them up, empower people, give them the opportunity to improve themselves. Give them challenging positions, give them challenging duties, and give them a little bit of knowledge and let them run with it. That's what a lot of times that my videos are on here. I just try to throw some knowledge bits out there, talk about some things in general terms, because as you see, look at my area AO. My AO is heavily wooded, green, like there's a sword fern, there's, an ash, there's, Oregon grapes, there's shalal, there's, all the stuff I have around me is way different than what you may have. And we're all different people, and we all have different situations. So, empowerment. What I say in my videos, I don't tell you, hey, you gotta get this thing, and you gotta do this thing, and then you'll survive SHTF. Because that's just not the case. I can't do that. Because we're all in different situations, and we all don't know what SHTF is going to be. We're in an SHTF right now. We're in a global pandemic. Whether, it's a load of crap and all this mask bull crap and stuff like that, whatever. But the fact is we are in an SHTF. We've had food shortages, we've had sanitizer shortages, toilet paper shortages, all these things. And limited, businesses shut down and stuff like that. We're basically in an SHTF. So, give people jobs and duties that challenge them, that give them the opportunity for growth, help them and make them feel important. And I may just be talking about your children or friends or, but I'm mainly thinking about like a group of people in an SHTF scenario, like at a bug out location or something like that. Yeah, so people in charge, leadership. So somebody's in charge. Say that scenario. We got a bug out location or a compound or whatever it is, and you got a bunch of people there. A leader needs to play on the strengths of individuals. Find out what their strengths are, and say, Bob over there is an expert canner, and say Jim over here is an expert gardener. Say Mary over here is a doctor. Whatever they are, whoever is a very, very knowledgeable and a specialist in a certain field, put them in charge of that area for your group. Give them the chance to grow. Just because they're an expert, they may not prove themselves to be a leader though, but give them the opportunity, because knowledge of a topic and of a specific item, like a technical field, in technical fields this happens all the time. Somebody may be a great technician. They may be able to sit there and troubleshoot and just fix anything, but they have zero leadership capability. So the person in charge doesn't have to be an expert in that field. They have to be an expert at managing people and leading people. Leadership is completely different from technical knowledge. It's good to have technical knowledge because you can set the example for those under you, but true leadership is about learning to lead people, manage people, and to get stuff done. So these are some ways to build morale. What are some other ways? Well, food is a big one. The food I talked about. Having things in your food storage, like a box of candies. We have morale boxes that have candy bars in them, hard candies. We have, like cake mixes, stuff like that, chocolate chips, a lot of different little things, like sweets, maybe some like Tang drink mix or some hot cocos in there. Just those things that are going to be really nice. Also, we really love the Great Value brand at Walmart, premium shells and cheese. It is way better than the Kraft or any other brand, because I find that the Kraft, I know this is a weird side story, but the Kraft is really salty and it's not as cheesy. Whereas the Walmart brand is actually, it's not as salty and it has a lot more cheesy flavor. So it's way better. So that's one of our favorite comfort foods. So maybe throw that in your morale box. Whatever your company, whatever your family and the people around you, your group love, put that aside in a morale box. Every once in a while have, a little nice treat. That will be great for morale. And maybe it's coffee for you. I don't know. Everybody's different. So think about these things. And think about, write down ideas. How are you going to improve morale in an SHTF scenario? What things can you do now to ensure that maybe you'll have a little better morale, like setting aside some of these items, starting with your groups, working now, empowering each other, empowering your family, even if it's just people around you, even if it's your friends. Start now. Prep a little every day, and prep out of peace of mind out of fear. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.